Zords, then the Robo Racer, and this may change as I do the video, but I'm kind of leaning towards doing Artillotron before the Rescue Zords, just because it came first in the show, so I don't know. But anyway, let's get right down to it, so let's begin. And here are the Turbo Zords, and yes, I know, we gotta get a little refocused here, because this ain't gonna cut it. Hey, look who's peeking out here. So these are the Turbo Zords. Now, before I get to them individually, a cool thing that I didn't notice until basically today, these guys have different sized tires. No, that's not what I learned today. And I actually need to bring this down a little bit lower, don't I? So there we go. What I learned is that it took an extra little step in all the detailing. Mountain Blaster, Desert Thunder, and Doomstar, the name's mixed up, had the same size tires. They have the exact same tire, if I'm correct. But they had this little sculpted in detail there. This is Power Vehicle, that's CR800. Now that's pretty cool. But there's an extra little bit. If you go to Wind Chaser, tires are a little small, you get CR600. Let's make that out there. Go even further. Red Lightning. I keep wanting to call it Lightning Thunder, but we'll get there. Red Lightning has CR400 for the smaller tires. So they actually took a little extra bit of detail and gave sculpted entire, I guess, markings based on their size. So that's actually a pretty nice little detail that I've ignored all this time, and it's cool that they included it. Now to go through them all, to start off with, I'm going to do Desert Thunder and then Doomstar. I think it's Doomstar, because they're basically the same overall toy. Very similar sculpts, with some minor differences in terms of the molding. In the back, this one's missing some stickers, I know, but the lights are different. You go to the side, the windows are different. You go to the front, you see this one has the raised hood, while this one doesn't, and their fronts have different kind of bumpers. I don't know what those are called, but they are overall the same overall sculpts. They have kind of the cheapest feel out of all the Turbo Zords. It's just they're hollow inside. They don't really have a whole lot of mechanics in them, so they definitely feel cheap. But they roll nicely. They serve their purpose as being the legs, so I can't really fault them too much for that. Woo. Move on to the Wind Chaser. Definitely has a better feel to it. The wheels don't seem to spin that well. And just so you know, I got these at a yard sale, so their quality really isn't as good as they should be. But what are you gonna do? You know, I got a pretty good deal. The stickers are a bit much. There's some paint missing from the windshield that I touched up very poorly. But this has a nice feel to it. It's not the best out of all of them, but it does roll while the wheels do kind of scrape. The stickers look okay. You know, there's not much to really say about these really. The best out of all of these, however, is the Mountain Blaster. This one is the gem out of all the toy forms of the Zords. It's got die cast all through here. The connector ports under here are die cast. It has a really good amount of weight to it, and really kind of balances everything out. Everything here has a really light feel. They don't really do a whole lot. This is where all the bulk of the Megazord will be, and I really do like how this looks. That even flips down, kind of ties into the Megazord, but it does have some nice little doodads on it. And last but not least, you got Red Lightning. A very sleek sports car. This is my favorite actual Zord. Favorite toy, favorite Zord, if that makes any sense. Sculpted and detailing does look really nice. It does roll rather well. The wheels, I think... Woohoo, I gotcha! You're not gonna go off this time. The wheels are actually rubber, or the tires are. So they can come off. It is a nice bit of detail, and I do wish the other wheels had rubber, but they don't, so oh well. But there's that. So of course, all this stuff now is to combine them. I'm going to go off the show's combination because, really, I don't remember the movie's transformation that well. And I'll probably mess this one up as well. But anyway, this guy will go off for now. And if I recall, it was basically to the extent of they would all just rush at each other at high velocity. They would go this way. No. They would all go with him, spin on their brakes, so they'd spin around. And that's a lot of scraping. And then these will flip up, like that. At the same time, that would split apart in the front. That'll flip up. Those will flip down, and then it would kind of lock itself in. And these are very loose on mine, so it does take a little bit of fiddling to get them right. But there's that. Now, I believe Wind Chaser would race from this direction, and then split apart like that. Little connector ports flip down there. Little fisties flip out there. And then they're going to peg into the wheels. There. And there. That little ramp would flip down, and then this guy would always shoot out off a cliff. Yes, there's a slight cut there. I'll get to that, and I'll explain why. I really do wish that once they got some kind of a budget established, they could have reshot some of the whole Zord opening bits, because every single time, this thing's got the exact same cliff, and it does get rather annoying. And it would drive up this ramp and then slide right in place. Now, you have to make sure the legs are fully separated, fully spread apart, because this little door inside, if you can see, it has to flip down for the Red Lightning to drive up the ramp and then go inside. If the front legs are not fully locked out, that's not going to happen. And they would continue driving. And then, from the sheer force of momentum, they would all slam with their brakes, and the whole thing would go, Aah! And flip forward like that. And let's raise you guys up just a little bit, shall we? Oh, there we go. And as it's rising up, this would go up, that would lock down. this would go back, and then this would go back, revealing the head. And of course, I left this out. This little door panel here, you gotta take this and slide it up. Because if you don't, well, it's got cars for arms. That's just goofy. We can't have that. So we gotta break that up and have it look a little more robotic. And that is your Turbo Megazord. You then, of course, have the shield, which I don't know if it actually had a name, but you could call it Turbo Shield, why not? And you would have this pretty nice little sword. It's broken into 3 pieces. There's the rubber kind of tip inside, and then there's these little parts that fit around it. So if you're buying this, make sure you have both of these halves so it does look correct. And there's your Turbo Sword, Turbo Saber, whichever you prefer. And there's the Megazord. And, you know, I like it. It's not the best looking Megazord of them all, and I'm zoomed way far out. But it definitely has this kind of fun look to it. I like the overall shape of it. I don't know. I realize it has giant cars for legs and arms and all that kind of stuff, but something about it just looks really, really great. I know people don't like Turbo that much because of the whole car thing and the characters. I'm not a fan of the ranges. I'm not a fan of the actual show, but something about Turbo was okay with me. I can't put my finger on it. And this Megazord is nice. It is your standard Power Ranger Megazord, so the articulation is limited to the arms, which all the way around. And that's really about it. No waist movement, no head, no legs, unless you kind of pretend that it's running. Well, you know, actually, if you kind of loosen the connector peg to the legs, you can maybe kind of get by with saying it has knee movement. Maybe. Nowhere near perfect, and it really makes the whole balance kind of wacky, but you could pull it off. Now, from what I recall, this thing had 2 major attacks. One, of course, was the sword, where you would rush at the opponent and then spin itself around, slicing the enemy. And then they could fire blasts from this little central part here, and then it could do like high-flying kicks with the legs, but that kind of thing. I like it. I do. If you could find it, I would say definitely pick it up. Now, of course, the Rangers needed help at some point, so the Blue Centurion came to Earth. And he arrived in the Robo Racer. Well, he didn't really arrive in Robo Racer, but he has the Robo Racer, his own personal Zord. It is a police car, because he has a whole theme. He's an officer. And it's got this fun, sleek appeal to it. Again, it's not that great of a toy, but it has this appeal that I like it. I really do. It does have lights and sound gimmicks. When you're buying this, make sure the seller says, lights and sounds work. Push a little crest on the top here. There's the crest. And we get... And I will show that once my light is off, just to show it off better. And it's a very, very large Zord. It rolls very, very nicely. The wheels, I think, are actually rubber, so it has really nice grip to it. Woohoo! Now, to transform this, you're going to take the front part and give a good tug to bring it out just that much. Take the legs, swing them around. This bottom part will rotate only in this direction. You can't rotate that way. You can only rotate just like that. Those go down for the knees. You can flip those up for his feet. When you put them down, it'll do it automatically. Take this, bring those around for his arms. Take that back for his head. And the little lights will flip forward. And there's the Robo Racer. He is a bit short compared to the Megazord, but he looks great. He does. He has the same amount of articulation. The arms will rotate. A kind of cool thing, from his transformation, he has a little bit bonus articulation. His waist somewhat rotates, and his knees actually rotate. So, well, not rotate, bend. There we go. So he does have articulation for his knees, waist, and arms. The head doesn't rotate, but his visor can flip down over his eyes as a little bonus thing. He does come with accessories, though, when you get him. He's got a shield that I'll show in a bit. He comes with 2 little blades here, a handcuff, and what I can only assume is his Synergizer Blaster. He had a gun in the show that's called the Synergizer Blaster, but I'm not sure if it was this exact one, but I call it that just for the sake of it. Both of his arms have little slots on the side there that you can peg his weapons into, like that. Go to the other side, and that fits in like that. His arm's going to rotate like crazy and get in my way, so I have to kind of mangle it. There we go. And he is armed for combat. He's ready to go. Yeah. You can, of course, take that away, put his handcuff in. I don't remember much of this guy in the show, so I don't know how much of these he actually used. But he does have a handcuff that he can use for whatever reason. But personally, I just like having him display with a shield that fits in his hand very, very well, and his blaster. And the shield is translucent, so it does have a nice look to a nice kind of robot-y futurist thing. And it does look rather nice. So let's kill my light real quick. Hit that button again. So again, if you're buying this guy on eBay, make sure lights and sound work. Cannot stress that enough. And that's it for those guys. Now, of course, that wasn't enough. We gotta have more firepower, more Zords. So let's clear things off, shall we? So enter the Phantom Ranger and Artillatron. And as you can tell, this thing is pretty big. I think it's the longest of my Ultra Zord type things, unless you count the Super Train Megazord just up to now. To give you an idea of its size, here's the Turbo Megazord to show you how long it is. It's big. And this was the Phantom Ranger's personal Zord. I don't think we really know where Artillatron came from. It wasn't ever called Artillatron the show. I think it wasn't until the toy that it was called the Turbo Transport, or something to that extent. And the cool thing with these is when the Phantom Ranger brought Artillatron, open the front here, inside were the Rescue Zords. Of course, number 1 fits in the front parts. And I'll go ahead and combine our Artillatron. These little connector parts fold away. I probably have it backwards, but folds away, and then lift it up. That goes up there. It's not a super duper connection, but I'm not sure if it's because mine's just old or what. But again, fold that away. You go to the front, fold this door down, and we get numbers 3 and 5. Go ahead and put them there. They're going to roll over the place, so we want to prepare you for that. Fold that up, get rid of the back, fold that one away. And yes, you may notice my Artillatron is missing his antenna. I don't know if I'll really ever attempt to rebuild those, but if anybody has a spare head portion they want to send me just for the antenna, I'd appreciate it. I'll buy it from you. I don't know how easy it'll be to switch the heads off, but just bang it out there. So there's that. Now while it's in here, you got to pull off these little bits here. I don't recall if you ever used these in the show or not. I don't remember, but these can rotate. They do spin. There is firepower there. But these will come off. Open up this little ramp. I can get it open with my hand. And of course I pulled the whole door off, but we get Rescue Turbo Zords 2 and 4. And with the stickers, they really do bring a lot to the overall toy, but the back I think is the best part of his overall stickers. Those are really nice metallic, and it really does bring a whole lot to it. But there is that there. Go ahead and take his arms, lock them in place now, to make it easier later. And then this whole thing will rise up, combined with that. It's hard to see what I'm doing. There's not much light over there. And once you get all his little pegs and tabs lined up, give a push and lock them in place. And then you have Artillatron. Bring him down for a second. Open his little visor up. He's active. He's ready to go. Now, you could argue this is his high stance mode. All the Rescue Zords have a high stance mode, where they're basically like the Shogun Zords. They have their own individual robot modes. Artillatron for now is done, so I'll put him back here. His arms do move. That's it for his articulation. It's very, very limited. We got 5. The Wind Rescue. The Desert Tumbler? Desert Thunder? Artillatron likes to roll away. I'll turn him kind of like that. This is the Thunder Loader. I was wrong on the name. Thunder Loader. The Star Racer. I'll get them kind of over there together. Siren Blaster. Stay. I'll have to kind of turn that way too. And last but not least, the Lightning Fire Tamer. So again, let's go ahead and reposition ourselves again. We can chop these fine little hunky-dory details. Start off with these guys again. The Thunder Loader is a dump truck. He actually has rubber tires. The ones that have rubber tires will tend to not roll in the bookcase, to give you an idea, but rolls very nicely. The bed of the truck can actually tilt back. It's not really hollow, so you can't put stuff in there. You can't really see them, can you? So let's go ahead and do that. It does tip backwards. You know, it's a feature that's really okay. He's pretty much good only for the leg mode and his high stance mode. But detail is very, very nice. With these guys, even more so than the Turbo Megazord, make sure you can try to get one that has the stickers. My first version didn't have stickers, and to give you an idea of a contrast, plain one, no stickers, lots of stickers. Look on the front there. Minor thing, open this up. And you can see, very, very plain, very nicely detailed. The stickers bring so much to these guys. But anyway, back to him. To get him into his high stance mode, very, very easy. Tip it up, tip the bed down, fold that in, extend the legs, which kind of happen automatically just by pulling it. Extend his arms out, and they should click in place. Let's see. Very slight click. Hit the front part, it's going to fold up, pinch in the sides, go back, and then go ahead and flip the head around. And there he is. And yes, he is a construction worker by his head. I do wish he had a different kind of look, but it does make sense. Bulldozer. Oh, I think I left that where it's supposed to be. Bulldozer, dump truck. It does kind of have the whole construction kind of vibe. But he's done. Next is the Star Racer. A very, very nice race car. I love how this thing looks. Again, tires are rubber through all of them. I think the ones that are not tires are those 3, but we'll get to those. I love all the detailing. This thing just looks amazing. The little front part here can flip forward, and I remember this supporting a building at some point in the show, as silly as that is. But I do like it quite a bit. To get into its high stance mode, again, pull that down, flip that forward, you go to the back, head's going to flip up and around, and the arms flip out. I don't think they actually click in place. Maybe they do. It's just a very, very slight click. And for some reason, you're supposed to take this and rotate down like that just to kind of break it up some. But there's that. Oh, again, construction head. I think it's a bit different from Thunder Loaders, but same kind of deal. Next, we got the Wind Rescue, who's meant to be an ambulance. Somewhat. It doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I think it's one of the weaker of them all, but still, it's okay. It gets the point across. To get into high stance mode, go ahead and separate the whole thing. Pull the bottom portion down entirely to bring the feet kind of where they're supposed to be. And the arms are going to flip out to the side and go up. On this side, flip the head around to get it out. Repeat with this side, bring the arm out. And then clip them back together. And you got a nurse. One of those old-timey nurse caps that I have not seen in a very long time, if ever. Only in movies. And there's that. Next, the Siren Blaster. Again, I think this is my favorite out of these vehicles. I really like how this looks. This is a very, very sleek cop car, and I really like it. Oh, it's just, that's awesome. I would buy this toy on its own, if not for the whole Megazord thing. It just looks that great. To get into high stance mode, you gotta tug the back pretty hard. There you go. And then once those are down, separate the legs out. And that's also for the Megazord transformation, so you're kind of getting him ready for that as well. Little feetums flip out. They're on the front, that flips down. Take his arms, bring them around. And there is that. He is a police officer, obviously. And last but certainly not least, the Lightning Fire Tamer. It's a fire truck. These do have their own little individual movements, all that kind of stuff there. You gotta grab the back, and on mine, it's very, very tight to the point that I think I'm probably doing it wrong, but eventually it does clip forward, so I don't know. But you're gonna grab the whole thing and just bring it down. That was actually easier this time, to form the legs. Those are gonna fold up in the back. Around the front, slide his feetums out. Those are there. Go to the top, bring his arms around, full rotation, and then go ahead and bring them down as well. I think they should lock in place, but it's not like a really secure kind of lock. And it kind of feels like there's something supposed to happen with his hands. There's this little pin in his hand there. I feel like something's supposed to happen, but I can't see that, so okay. Go around to the front here, fold the windshield forward, fold this little panel back, and then flip out his miniature head. And of course, he's a firefighter. There he is for his high stance mode. And that's the Rescue Zords, all ready for their own individual combat. I don't recall how often these modes were used in the show. I really don't. It's been a while since I've watched anything of Turbo. But it's not bad looking. I like how they all look. I think that they pull off the transmission better than the Shogun Zords. The Shogun Zords weren't bad. They would turn into their robot modes okay. But these guys have their own individual look that really stands apart from the others. Don't even get me started on the Super Zeo Zords. Those are But I like them. They look great. Articulation-wise for them, you are limited to just arm movements. And that's it. The heads don't rotate, the legs don't move. That's really, really it for them. All that's left now is the Megazord transformation. And to do that, I'm going to start with these guys again. Go ahead and fold that forward, push the legs down, fold the arms in, and then take the whole thing and fold it back around. You could leave that down if you want. There's that. Repeat with this guy. Fold the head back, push those in, squeeze the arms. That goes back to how it was before. There's that. Take the Siren Blaster. And it's pretty much already there. Just fold in the feetums, go to the front, fold the front part back up, and then fold this piece back up. The sticker's getting kind of warped. And then take this front part, and it's going to fold around and then lock in the back. Once you make sure that the legs are fully separated. And that locking in place in the back keeps those from squeezing in each other. Like the Mountain Blaster, those flip down. These are die-cast like the Mountain Blaster. It has a very nice feel, and it's going to peg right into these guys. Like that. Ta-da! I was going to save him for last, but I kind of got to do him now. So you're going to take him, push the feet in place, go ahead and bring the arms back. You don't have to fold this panel up, but just for the overall effect, I'm going to leave it up for now. The arms go back. Like that. Go ahead and bring the guns out, or water soaker things. I'm going to call them guns, just to make it easier. That's going to fold up, and then this whole thing folds around and clips in place. Open the fronts, big head's going to come out, fit over the little head, and then close that up, fold this kind of back, and that's done. There are lots of little connection tabs all through there, so you're going to line those up, and I don't know how well you can really see this. I'm trying to get it where I can even see it. But that's going to fit together, and it's a pretty snug fit. I say as it'll probably come undone at some point. So again, let's bring you guys up some. And yes, my light has come off. But then that's done. Go to the wind rescue. Arms are going to fold back in. Go ahead and separate the whole thing. Fold the head back in place. While this is extended, fold the little fist out. Now, some people will argue you're supposed to have it closed all the way like that. I don't think so. Out of the instructions I have and the video I've seen on YouTube, the very slide video, you're meant to have this extended just a little bit to kind of break things up. So again, it's not just a car on the arm. And again, fold out the yellow connection peg. And that's going to fit in there. Same with this one. Connection peg out. Fold the fist out. Close it in almost all the way, but not quite. And then put that in there. Now, as a bonus, when I got this, I wasn't aware it was going to come with certain heel attachments. So again, we're going back down. I apologize for getting dizzy. Whoop. And that's these guys. The instructions don't really say what these are for. It just pegs them in. I think it's meant to add some stability to it. It is a bit heavy, but it doesn't really need it. But anyway, this one will fit in there. That'll fit in there. And that's that. And I guess it's meant to make it more stable. I don't really know. And you go back up to the top here again. And the Rescue Megazord comes with these little blasters that really, really are needed. It took me a long time to find blasters on their own. And I finally gave it and bought a whole new Megazord just to have these little guns. The little guns look great. And it does add a bit to the Megazord. It gives it some kind of weaponry besides the little water shooters here. And that's it for the Rescue Megazord. It's a nice, bulky kind of upgrade. If you compare it to the Turbo Megazord, you can definitely see a big difference in its overall girth, really. I think I select this one in the overall look of it, but this one has a really, really nice appeal. Everything just looks robotic. It's not just a car fitting into a car. It looks like actual robotic vehicles, if that, combined together, and it just looks fantastic together. So I'm going to scoot him back a little bit. Now this guy did have a finishing move of sorts, and that would involve Artillatron. So get him kind of like that. Oh, articulation-wise, from again, arms have full movement, and that's really it. And let me just take off his little guns here. And then you take Artillatron's guns or arms, a little tab will flip down, and then it fits into the little peg holes of the fist, right in there. I'm not sure if it's because mine is used or what, but the arms definitely sag down with it. I don't know if it's meant to really support itself that badly. But there is that. And these would become the Rescue Megazord's artillery mode. And it is not going to stick. I'd open that up. And it would basically just release hell on its opponent with these two cannons. This can rotate, but it really doesn't add much to it. And that's really about it. It does add a lot of weight to the arms. You can see the arms are sagging pretty badly now. I don't know if there's a way to fix that or not, but I don't have it posed like that, so it's not really that big of a deal. But it definitely looks a bit massive. Now, it is worth noting, there was one occasion where this wasn't good enough that I can recall. I think it was called Carlos and the Count. The Turbo Megazord couldn't cut it, the Rescue Megazord couldn't cut it, so they had to merge them together for some goofy reason. That involves taking off the Wind Rescue, taking off the Siren Blaster and Lightning Tamer, and they kind of go off on their own little adventure. And then taking Red Lightning and the Mountain Blaster and combining them with the others. And they all fit together just like before. Get that locked in, get that locked in, that in there, and that in there. I've been thinking about this, and I'm not really sure why this was needed for the finishing move. I don't know what the original origin was in the Super Sentai series, and maybe there's something a lot better. But the only thing that I can come up with is their finishing move involved using Artillatron's cannons that, again, are sliding around. I'll bring it a little bit higher. Let's do it kind of like that. And then put this one in this arm. But while they fired this, they used the Turbo Megazord's chest beam at the same time. So you had firepower from each of the cannons plus that. That's all I can think of. That maybe that's why this mode was needed. I think it was used only once in the show, and I don't think it's ever used again. But it's nice that the toys can recreate that and join together. And it is worth noting, yes, you can combine the others with themselves. This didn't have a name in the show, but it's there. And you know, looking at it, and I'm going to drop something behind the book because I can already tell. This is a bit back heavy, so I'm wondering if maybe these little suckers are for whenever you're going to combine something with this. And there's so much weight in the back, because these can connect to the Turbo Zords to add some heel support. And that's all I can think of. And I am knocking things all over the place, aren't I? Let's try this again. There's that one. And then there's this one that I dropped. And I think I got them wrong again. But I don't know. And I'm getting these backwards somewhere. I just can't tell where. So let's try that one again. So, I don't know, maybe that's why it's there, to add some support to the Turbo Zords, because they are kind of a bit wibbly-wobbly. I don't know, but it is there, so again, maybe worth making sure that the heel balancers are in place when you're buying this. Again, this mode was never used in the show, but you can do it in the toys if you so desire. And there is that. So let me break these back down real quick. But there you have it, guys. The Zords from Turbo. Unless I'm missing something I have no idea that I'm missing. I definitely like all of these. Turbo, as a show, well, you know, it's debatable if it was okay or not. But the toys are fantastic. I think my favorite Megazord of all these still is the Turbo Megazord. My favorite toy out of all these is the Rescue Megazord. Robo Rage has its own little appeal. Artillatron is a big, bulky, non-articulated mess, but really all the Ultra Zords are, in a way, so you can't really fault it for that. If you are a fan of Turbo, I would say pick them up. They will look great in your collection. eBay is probably your best bet at this point, unless you get lucky on, like, Ranger Board.